Struggling to clean messy data with duplicates in Excel? What if Python Pandas could do it faster and smarter? I am Ali, your instructor for the day. The goal for today's video is to compare how Excel and Python Pandas handles duplicates across three key scenarios. Let me pull up an Excel file. So what are duplicates? A duplicate could be an exact duplicate or a partial duplicate. So for example, if we see this line here, this is an exact duplicate. And if we see this line here for Bob, we see that we have one Bob in finance and one Bob in sales, and these are partial duplicates. Right, so let me pull up VS Code. I already have some code made up. So our first scenario is removing exact duplicates. So I'm just going to create a copy of this tab. So you can do that by pressing and holding Control key and just dragging it to left or right, and you'll get a copy of it. So we'll say scenario 1. This will be removing exact duplicates. So you select all of the columns. You do Alt-AM. This brings up the remove duplicate box. Keep option that says my data has header selected. Click on OK. And you see it says 2 duplicate values found and removed. 7 unique values remain. So it removed the last 2 rows which were exact duplicates. Now let's do this exact scenario using Python Pandas. Let's load the file. So we do imports, import pandas as PD. If you do not have Python installed, Python installation is very easy. I will add a link to the installation in the description. So we define a variable called df. You could use any other variable name, but df is industry standard for data frame. We say bd.readexcel. We give the file name. Since it's in the same directory, we can just give the file name. So we say do data.xlsx, and then we give the sheet name, that is sheet 1, and we load the data. And you can see you have the data loaded inside of Python Pandas by using head method, which is why it's showing only 3 rows. Right, for first method, what we can do is we can say df, and we create a new variable, scenario 1, and then we say df drop duplicates, and we give it nothing, just an empty parentheses, and this will remove the exact duplicates. And the way to know it is we can simply print the shape of original data frame and then the shape of the new data frame. It should have 2 rows less, which will tell us that it dropped the 2 rows. And you can see you had 9 rows before, and now you have 7 rows. So for this case, Excel is clear winner. It's very easy to use, and it's visually very easy to see as well. With Python, it's not that visual. For our second scenario, so let's create another tab. We press and hold Control key, move the mouse to the right or left, which says scenario 2. In this scenario, we are going to find duplicates and will not remove them. So for this case, we will select all of the columns in Excel, do Alt-HL to bring up conditional formatting, and then we simply say duplicate rows. Now the rows where you have all of these values as red highlighted, these are the rows with exact matches. So for example, this only has one cell matching because Bob is matching in one cell, but department and cell is different. So for these rows, Eve and Alice and Alice, these are exact matches which you can see visually. Now let's do the exact scenario using Python Pandas. So let's create another data frame. So we say df2 scenario 2 equals, and here we will simply say df, and then we add df.duplicated, and we say keep equals false, and this will give us all of the duplicates. So we can actually extract this to Excel. So we say dot to Excel, and let's run it. And this file should only have the duplicate values. Now this is very helpful when you only want to look at duplicates instead of all of the data. So you can see the extracted data only has duplicates. Once that is done, you can simply sort them by any value, and you will see all of the exact duplicates. Now for this case, Python is more customizable, but it's not that visual, but you can always extract to Excel to see whatever the data is. For Excel, this works, but if you have a large data frame, it's not easy to visually see these. And this cannot handle complex logics. For this case, Pandas wins for flexibility and Excel wins for visualization. So let's look at our case 3. So I'm going to close this file. Let me create another tab, call it scenario 3. And in Python Pandas, let's move down. And for this case, we want to look at how we can handle partial duplicates based on one or more columns. So for example, the values where we have like Bob, these are partial duplicates. Now these are not easy to remove in Excel. So what you can do is you can create a running COUNTIF. So let's create a new formula here. So we say running COUNTIF. And the way you build up this formula is we will check the name column. So we want to look at this column. We say COUNTIFs and we give this range here. Then we give the criteria as the name. Now, since you made this formula, now you have to modify it. So we will say B2 through B2 and we will freeze the first value. And once you copy it down, you have a running count of this value. So for example, as soon as the value appears second time, it will give 2 to you. Same in this case and same in this case. So if you want to remove on this column, what you can do is you can simply uncheck all of the values that are not 1 and then you can remove the second values. And that's it. So let's try to do this in Python Pandas. We are gonna do actually 2 scenarios for scenario 3. So let's copy this, let's call it 3. In our first scenario, we will only drop on 1 column, and in second scenario, we'll drop at 2 columns, which is something Excel will find hard to do without using a running COUNTIF formula. So we say df.drop duplicates like before. We'll say subset. And here we will give the column name. So for example, for now, we're going to check on name column. And let's run this. And once we have this, we are going to extract it to Excel. Let's use the autofill. And let's see what we have in scenario 3. And you can see you have all of the values from name column, which were twice have been dropped. So for example, Alice was twice here. It has been dropped. Then Bob was second time here. It is dropped as well. And so it was able to drop duplicates based on 1 column. Now let's try to do this on 2 columns. So let me close this file. And now what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at 3 columns. We want to look at all 3 columns. So we only want to remove duplicates where these 3 columns have duplicates. And we can check on 2 columns. So we can say department. Let's check what the file is generated. And now you can see it has retained the second Bob because it had a different department. So it's going to look at 2 columns, name and department, and only drop those rows where you have the exact values in those 2 columns. You can also drop and keep the specific results. For example, if you want to drop the second value or the last value, you can use keep here. So you can say keep last. So if you want to retain the last result of the duplicate, you can use last, you can use first as well. And this is how you get a lot of flexibility while doing the drop duplicates. So let's look at the verdict. Excel is good for quick and visual checks. Python Pandas is good for automation, customization, and large data sets. Which tool do you prefer for cleaning duplicates? Like and subscribe if you want more Excel versus Python comparisons. Right, till next time, happy coding.